Hi, I'm Lise Colucci. We're trying this again. I'm one of the life coaches at queenbeing.com, where we help you to discover, understand, and overcome narcissistic abuse in toxic relationships. I don't know if this is echoing or not, or the audio is working, so I'm going to wait for people to get in here. And if anyone is in here, can you just type it whether you can hear me or not? And whether it's echoey. I see you guys are piling in here. It's fixed. Yes. Okay. All right. So here we go. If you need any help with narcissistic abuse recovery, head over to queenbeing.com. Lots of information over there. There's links to group support, all kinds of stuff. So head over there. I'm glad it's working. If you need texting notification of my going live, text me at 33222. Put the word Lise live, Liselive, hit send as one word, hit send, and then I will text you about 10 minutes prior to going live. And we're just going to jump in now. We're going to talking about emotional responsibility. Somebody asked me how they could stop putting their bad moods, their emotions, onto other people, how they can stop sort of spilling it all out toward other people. So we're going to talk about that. It is Mercury retrograde, right? Just going with it. You just go with it. Lots of weird stuff going on is very real. Just go with it. Just start over. It's all good. Hi, Tree Hugger and Belle and Martha and Fashion Family. Mercury retrograde started yesterday. Yeah. So if you believe in that stuff, we're in for it, right? Okay. So, emotional responsibility, keeping your emotions in check, right? Keeping your emotions, sharing them, of course, freely with people as you choose, but not dumping your emotions onto someone else for them to fix, or pouring a bunch of energy out emotionally towards someone else and really being kind of a lot for other people, right? All right. So we're just going to get started. Somebody asked this because I think they were struggling with when they get triggered, when they have emotional reactions to things, just being really big with it and being really, basically dumping it on other people, I think is what they said. How do they stop dumping their emotions on other people? Okay, so number one, identify the emotion that you're having. What happens is we get really fast, especially when we have been in relationships where we have been told our emotions don't matter, where we've been told that we're too sensitive, our feelings are too this, or they're too that, they're not right. When we've been around toxic people, when we're out of that, or even when we're still in it, we can get really reactionary and really, it's quick. Okay. So you have a trigger, or somebody says something that, or something's happened on the outside of a situation, and we just react. We go straight into reaction without any thought because, PTSD, because all kinds of things. But so how do you stop that? How do you slow it down? If you can take a second to identify what you're feeling before you open your mouth, before you say anything, before you react, just a minute to identify what feeling you're having. When you can take that moment to identify what it is and then simplify it. So you might be like, I don't even know what I'm feeling. And whoa, I'm feeling angry, or I'm feeling. So basically, if you can simplify it, there's about, 5 main core emotions. There's happiness, there's sadness, there's fear, anger, disgust, and surprise. All right. So those 5 major core emotions oftentimes are what you can boil down the bigger, more explosive reaction that you're having, the trigger that you're having. If you are just like, this is going to happen, that's going to happen, and you, oh my gosh, I have fear. Okay, so once you understand, this is, Belle, yes, this is relevant to emotional literacy. Trying to do once a week something about our emotional intelligence, so that we're focusing on us only on that day instead of the toxic people, then And so, yes, this would be in the Emotional Intelligence Fridays. How's that? Although I don't want to do that because then that limits Fridays to having to do that. But for today, that's what it is. Like when I feel Mercury's in retrograde, when you feel the reaction to things, when you feel these big reactions to anything, a trigger, it can help with trigger calming too, to identify what it is you're feeling. We go straight into reaction and we get, but I feel this, and we don't identify, like simplify it and boil it down to what you're actually feeling, which is, I feel scared, I feel sad, I feel happy, whatever. Happy, sad, fear, anger, disgust, or surprise is the 5 that they say are the most common core feelings that you can boil it down to. Yes, that's a different exercise that you're talking about, Belle. That would be more like when you are, Belle is saying that she was handed a list of 50 emotions from a group years ago, and that was helpful to describe what she feels. That would be more on the other end when you're dissociated from what you're feeling to help you identify what you're feeling, because you don't know, you're just frozen and you don't know what you're feeling. You know, you're feeling something, but you don't know. So it helps you to like see little pictures of what they look like. It can really help to identify, oh, there it is. That's what I can put a word with this thing I am feeling right now that I'm calling an emotion. This is more like you have a big emotion and you're doing the opposite. You're going to boil it down to 5, one of the 5. You're going to say, oh, this is, and you can feel that, you feel the energy. Oh, I am angry. Okay, I feel anger. So anyway, once you've got that going and you can, that's when it's the best time to work on emotional literacy. Exactly. It's always a good time to work on it. It's always, especially when you're in reaction, right? Excuse me, because what we're doing if we don't is we're dumping our emotions out into the world onto other people and expecting and hoping someone else will fix it. Maybe we don't intentionally hope that, but we kind of are. When we're venting, when you're venting, that's a good time to understand this. It's okay to vent. You just have to know who you're venting to, and you know the limits of the venting, and understand that other person has boundaries. They should, we hope, for themselves, and that too much venting can be not so good for the relationship that you're having with that other person, right? Venting's okay. We need to vent, but it also helps to have some level of emotional responsibility going on while you're venting. So this isn't to make you like calm and be like, I feel anger, It's okay. It's just to help you own your own anger, contain it within yourself, so that when you are venting, you're not putting it out there to everyone else and making everyone feel nervous because you're angry. You know what I mean? There's a way to talk about it and to be angry and to like get your point across without it spilling out onto other people. And we don't like it to happen to us, and so we don't want to be doing it to other people, right? Especially because we're trying to fill our lives with empaths now, and kind and beautiful people who care. So this is care of oneself and care for our environment and other people. All right. They didn't know. I'm going to read that after here. I'm studying how to mind map and identify what my emotion is. Yes. Because, and that's like the big picture. And I'm talking today about the small picture. So it goes together, right? Okay. Emotional literacy, I talked about the other day, and I had a good definition. Where is it? I'm looking because I had it written down as like a really good description that was simple. Oh, I don't know where I put it. Basically, it's knowing yourself, okay? It's knowing yourself, knowing who you really are, what's going on, not identifying so much with your emotions that you are lost in them. It's being able to have and feel the emotions that you're having and be clear about what it is that you're experiencing within yourself around those emotions. Being able to name and identify them, that's helpful, but that's only a piece, okay? So what do you do then? So that's what we're going to talk about, some other stuff too. You're feeling blah. That's all you need to know then. It's okay. Whatever you feel, right? It's okay. I'm trying to find where emotional intelligence. So emotional literacy, similar to emotional intelligence, right? It's the capacity to be aware of, express, and act upon the emotions and handle interpersonal relationships judiciously and empathically. Okay, I'll read that again. Capacity to be aware of, express. I'm going to read it clearly now for the first time. Emotional intelligence, emotional literacy going together, okay? Capacity to be aware of, express, and act upon emotions and handle interpersonal relationships judiciously and empathically. All right? That includes your relationship with yourself. All right? So when we're having these emotional outbursts for whatever reason, we're having a trigger, a reaction, or we're just really expressive people, right? Identifying the emotion that you're feeling and then simplifying it to one of those 5. And the reason is you're boiling it down to what it's really all about. When you're in hot-headed reaction, when you're in reaction instead of response, you're telling yourself all kinds of stories about how you're feeling inside your head, and it's so fast that you're not aware of it, and that's what's coming out as the venting, and that's what's coming out towards other people, right? And it's also not dealing with and coping with the core thing you're feeling, which is probably a more simplified version of all the storytelling that's going on in your head. So, okay, let's see if there's any. Okay, I'm going to read your thing, Jack, in just a second. So then once you have identified something in a more simple form, listen to yourself and ask what it is you need. What are you saying with that? Slow down the reaction time through questioning yourself. I feel angry. This is before you start venting at someone. This is before you're reacting, before you're in that reactionary state. I'm angry. What am I angry about? What is causing this anger? And what do I need? What do I need to resolve this? If you don't know, how can you be responsible for your own emotions? If you don't know what you need, you're just running on and on and on. And we're looking for the answers, right? The reason we vent and the reason we get into reactions is we're looking for answers. We're not just doing it because we don't, just for no reason. All right. So ask yourself the relevant questions. But once you know what it is you're even dealing with, if you're sad, you might ask something. What did I write down here? What specifically is making me sad right now? Sometimes you don't know, and that's okay. It's okay not to know the answers to these questions, but the questioning mindset is a much calmer one, and one that is offering opportunity for a more open exchange with yourself and other people if you are asking a question versus I'm sad, therefore I'm going to just dump all this sadness all onto everybody else. All right. So asking yourself, like, what specifically makes me sad? What am I specifically angry at? Narrowing it down. Would you read the definition one more time? Yes, I will. I will. Okay. We're going to go back and read. I got to find it again now. I didn't mark the page. There we go. All right. I'm going to read the definition this is the definition of emotional intelligence as I understand it. All right. Which is part of emotional literacy. Emotional literacy would be like the bigger picture of it and how to apply it, right? It's the capacity to be aware of, express, and act upon your emotions and handle interpersonal relationships judiciously and with empathy. No sorries needed. I will read it every 5 minutes if you want. I don't care. It's my live stream. I can read it. I can just read that over and over again. Just kidding. Okay. Okay. Hi to Martha and everyone. If I'm not saying hi, I'm sorry. Hi, T-Berry. I am a little distracted because it started really weird and I have only like 40 minutes to talk. So here we go. Okay. 20 minutes. All right. So once you have asked yourself a question, what is it that you need? What is it? I'm going to cough. What is it that you need to make yourself, give yourself rather, the care that you need? So before we're asking for somebody else's input, what can we give ourselves in that situation? Sometimes it's like, I need to take a breath. I'm really angry. I need to step away a second. You know what you need, and go do it. Sometimes it's like, I don't know what I need. I'm going to ask for what I need. I'm going to ask for help. Oh, that's what I need. I need to ask for help. It can, if you don't, oh, okay. Hi, Gwen. All right. I hear you. How does emotional literacy compare to emotional intelligence? What's the difference? I would have to look it up. I'm thinking it's the same thing. My brain is not focusing on definition right now, and I can totally figure it out and let you know. But to me, I get so tripped up with words, because what I call something, I mean, they're all just made up titles, right? There's no such diagnosis as an emotionally literate person. It's a made up word somebody's using to describe a situation so we can all speak a common language. And I think I don't have the language today. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I think it's the same thing too. I think it's just different ways of wording it, but I could be wrong there. So I'm not don't quote me on it. I don't know. My brains are scrambled. I feel, yeah, it's the Mercury retrograde, I think. The planets are pulling our brains. Okay. I don't know. I don't want to believe in it, but why is all this weird stuff happening? Like, why does my car battery die the day it starts? Why is, like, people leaving their computers at home and then having to drive back and then running out of gas while they're driving back, when they're perfectly responsible people that never do things like that? Why? Because we're all going a little, what today? Okay. So ask for what you need. Come back to the topic here. Identifying your emotion, simplifying it to something really basic. What am I feeling basically? Stop all this running dialogue about it for 1 second. And what am I actually feeling? Listening to yourself, listen to that feeling. I feel sad. I really feel sad. And then ask questions. What specifically am I sad about today? What specifically in this moment am I sad about? And then what do I need? If you don't know what you need, it's okay. What do I need is an awesome question. Because when you're asking, what do I need? You're opening yourself up to seeking what you need, right? And sometimes the answer will come in physical form. I need a break. I need to step outside. I need a hug. I need, something, whatever it is. It'll be something physical. Sometimes it's a thought, but it doesn't mean you can meet that need right away, but just understanding what you need is useful. It brings you back into your own awareness of your emotions, instead of these emotions being these foreign things that are flying through us at rapid speed, taking over our lives. Okay. When you're in front of another person, when this came about because someone was asking how to not dump their emotions on other people. So when you are in relation to another person, understand that person, you can ask for what you need. Okay. If that person is your friend or a safe person and they're there for you, and this is a dialogue that is, intended to help you or whatever, ask for what you need. I need whatever, not to a narcissist, not to a toxic person. I'm talking about when it's safe and when this is a healthy dynamic between you and this person. Ask for what you need, but also understand they are not obliged to give you that. That other person is not obliged to meet your needs. You are obliged to meet your needs, okay? You're the one who has to find a way to meet our own needs. This is adulting, right? It's emotional intelligence is meeting one's own emotional needs. We can't meet our needs 100% in isolation. We're not meant to be, we're not solitary creatures, right? But we have to be able to find our way there. And so understanding that person is not obliged to, number one. So don't get mad at them if they can't. Understand also sometimes people just can't, right? But that doesn't mean don't ask. You can still ask. When someone can't meet your needs, when you ask and you can't, and it's just not working out, see that as a boundary and respect their boundary. Okay? Respect your own boundary that you need more and you need whatever the need is. I need someone to hear me right now, and this person can't listen. I can see that. I'm going to have to place a boundary then, and I'm going to have to stop talking about this to them, and I'm going to find someone I can talk to that does listen. Sometimes we're just asking for the wrong thing from the wrong people, or we're just randomly dumping on someone and we don't know it. So it's like being responsible for where we're placing our emotional attention, right? This is along the lines of self-care. Life is self-care, really. It is. Okay. I'm going to work on my emotional literacy a lot for a while. I've been focusing a lot on inner critic work, and it's becoming automatic now. Excellent. Thank you for this topic. You're welcome. Any topic related to emotional literacy, hit me up and I will talk about it. I love that stuff. Okay. And I think it's important at least once a week for us to live stream about us and how to take responsibility for who we are now. And that's what keeps toxic people out, you guys. When you have a high level of emotional literacy, you're not going to be tolerant of people in your life who don't also participate in that for themselves. And a narcissist can't have emotional literacy. They cannot have emotional intelligence because I'm going to read it one more time. Okay. Because what does it require? Y'all know it because I said it 3 times. What does it require? Empathy. Okay. The capacity to be aware of, express, act upon emotions, and handle interpersonal relationships judiciously and with empathy. All right. So that's all. Okay. Practice mindfulness. If you're not practicing mindfulness daily, but you are a person that is highly reactive, you might do yourself a service to start practicing mindfulness practices. 10 minutes, a couple times a day. It does not have to be a lot. Learning to calm, center, and be present to the present moment is how you slow this emotional reaction time. If you are doing it and it's not, and you're only doing it like once a day and you're still super reactionary, increase it. Increase it to 3 times a day. You only need to do 10 minutes. You don't need to do, it doesn't have to be, long meditations. Mindfulness meditations. Find ways to become present to the moment when you're out in public, when you're out in life. It doesn't have to be in meditation. Find ways to be present to yourself. Feel your body is in this, room or wherever you are, sitting in the chair. Notice what's around you. Just take a few seconds. When you enter, you can do little exercises with yourself. Like when you enter, walk through into a new place, orient yourself, look at what's around you, smell what you smell, see what you see, feel the temperature of the room, all of that, just for a few seconds. Doing that helps you stay present to yourself. And it's practice. Like was it Martha saying that practicing, what was she practicing? The inner dialogue has completely become automatic now. This kind of thing can become somewhat automatic. So it helps you be present. We don't go into reaction as fast when we're present. That's the whole reason. That's why mindfulness is useful and important. Bella is saying, absolutely, narcissists have no empathy or real perception of others' feelings. That is why I never try to ask the narc for support or validation. And that's good. That will help you not feel so invalidated, right? Okay. All right. What did I miss? Did I miss something? Your car battery died. See? Weird, right? Okay. Okay. All right. T-Berry, they imitate, have feelings, emotions, but not usually. It's just an act. They have to remember to act like they care. When it comes to other people, yeah, but they certainly feel it when it comes to themselves. Yeah. I was thinking this reminding me of mindfulness and work and being present. Good. Okay. All right. So along those lines of what you can do. So a lot of emotional responsibility is in the way we prepare our lives. We can't just go into, well, you can, but it's going to be a very difficult struggle if you try it that way. Going at triggers and going at emotional dumping, whatever it is that big expressions of emotion toward other people, going at that while you're in the moment, super hard. We started with the in the moment stuff, but really it's about preparing your life before these events happen. It's in setting up success for yourself. We've been taught to just survive. Okay. So in just surviving, you're not doing a whole lot of setting up for yourself. You're doing a lot of clinging and reacting. And that's how narcissists and toxic abusers have created patterning in us and programming that set us up that way. So preparing for these things, meaning, there's going to be triggers. We all have, everybody has triggers. Okay. But our triggers with the PTSD, with the abuse and all of that, yes, it's responding versus reacting. But in order to get there, oftentimes it takes living that way. That's why mindfulness is a practice every day, multiple times a day, for people who have a lot of triggers and a lot of emotional reaction to things, and who get reactionary, or who have narcissistic fleas, and they're trying to work with letting go of those fleas and not thinking everyone is an abuser, and not thinking, it's tricky. And so it's setting it up through your whole day. The biggest piece of that as well is gratitude. I know it sounds kind of strange, but it is gratitude. If you can find gratitude in your day, carry that gratitude with you through your day, your emotions are in a much calmer place to begin with, so that when you have a trigger and you have a reaction, you're able to respond to it. I'm not saying don't respond to your anger. If you're angry, be angry and have an appropriate anger response toward whatever it is you're angry at. That's fine. But if you're in reaction, you are dumping your anger not only at the person you're angry at, but the next person who comes along, and the next person who comes along. 5 years later, maybe even still the next person who comes along. You know what I mean? We're just spewing the emotions all over because we're not being responsible for them. It's care and maintenance of our emotions is what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about sucking it up and being, robotic. And I'm talking about the care and maintenance of the emotions that we have, knowing that we are most likely people who have had abuse, obviously, if we're here, and have a lot of triggers around our emotions, have been told we're too sensitive, have been told our emotions are something that there's something wrong with, because that's what narcissists do. All right. So it's having responsibility for those emotions, for our emotional lives, is caretaking those emotions, and having things to do with them versus just letting them pour out of us, okay, onto other people. And like I said, most of us are trying to fill our lives with positive people. We don't want to be dumping and pouring it all out to other empaths, right? We want them to hear us and give us validation and exchange and communicate and connect. You can't connect with someone when you're dumping on them. You can't, because they can't connect with you. They're just containing everything you're throwing at them. So is that making sense? I'm getting better with your help. Oh, good. I'm not dissociating as much these days. Excellent. Vicky, yay. Feelings are okay. Especially when you have a way to work with them, right? And they're not so overpowering, right? Lise, gratitude and kindness toward others makes us feel so much better. It does. And having that gratitude attitude, so to speak, and having, it gives you a lighter heart, and it makes you more open to your life. Now, you can say, but I don't want to be open to life because life is awful and blah, 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 blah. Well, if that's all you're looking at, that's all you're going to feel. And that's where your focus is going to be. And that's where, as an emotional person, you're going to be driven. So if you wish to change that around, it does help to find joy and gratitude. Gratitude for sure doesn't hurt anyone, right? It doesn't. It gives you a different sense of yourself. And it also gives you a different sense of the world around you, that there are things that are okay. And finding joy, so that part of your day, a piece of your day, a minute of your day has a bit of happiness or light or levity or lightness to it. It helps, because if you are always wound up and you are carrying one negative emotion to the next negative emotion to the next negative emotion, you're in reaction, of course it's going to spill out onto other people. And of course it's going to be very difficult to identify what the core emotion that you're even feeling is, right? Okay, so breathing, it says Anna Marie. Last time I was subjected to one of those awful lectures in which she spent an hour talking about all her feelings, I breathed and let the need to defend myself or my own or my honor. And that, when you're breathing, is great. And you're talking about dealing with someone toxic. So what I'm talking about is us being a little bit toxic to other people, or even a lot toxic, by dumping our emotions in a way that becomes one of those awful lectures toward, and the other person isn't even responsible for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, It's the emotional dumping that can happen, and learning to be responsible and still be heard and still have your needs met. But I like the breathing is important. I didn't have that written down, but that is a good one. Breathing, just coming back to breathing and letting go of. So if you're the one in reaction, if you're the one spilling it out, you can still breathe through it, right? No, it's totally fine, because what you said is really relevant. It's just a different topic, totally relevant use of breathing, and can be used here to say, if you're in reaction, if you're like, how can I simplify my emotion when I am so, you don't understand me, Lisa, I am so triggered. I get so triggered that I just feel this need to explain it all and have everybody understand what I'm talking about. And then, you go on and on and on and on and on. And the mind is going a million miles a minute, because you guys are all brilliant, right? And it's spilling out. How can I identify the core emotion that I'm actually feeling when I'm like that? You don't understand it. It's too fast. You breathe. You go, oh, I'm way up there. And you start breathing, and you're already breathing. You just notice you're breathing. Slow your breathing. Put your hand on your belly and breathe. Whatever it takes, just get into your breathing a little tiny bit. That helps you be more mindful. It helps you slow down. And then you can ask yourself, what am I feeling? What's going on here? All right. Okay. So that was good. Thank you. It is important to know your audience. Yes. Let's see. Okay. So then another thing, understand that you're triggered. Know that you're triggered. Understand that you're triggered and that you're in reaction, and you're likely needing to find ways to respond, not react when you're triggered. First thing I do when I'm triggered is I check my body. I think, what am I feeling in my body? I feel, especially if the trigger is one where I'm directly talking to someone, what am I feeling? I feel nervous. I feel anxious. I want to run away. I see myself turning away from them. I'm not looking them in the eye. I notice what I'm doing with my body. I don't change it. I just notice it. And then I tell myself I'm being triggered. You're totally triggered right now, girl. Just slow down and stop making it about them. Let them be and work with this trigger. And does that make sense? You check your body, and then I breathe. Like you said, I breathe. Here I am. Okay. I'm triggered. Sometimes if I know them well enough, I'll say, hang on a second. I'm super triggered with what you just said. It's okay. Don't just hold this thought 1 second. Give me a sec. If I know them, if I don't know them, I do that to myself inside. Hold up a sec. You're just being triggered. You can't hear what they're saying right now. You're just a lot. Yeah. So, okay. Verbally and being able to, exactly what Jack said. Okay. So this is more like the person who asked this question was talking about how they tend to spill out their emotional response, reactions, their emotional reactions toward anyone who will listen, kind of. So like, instead of just being like, hey, what's up? Oh, not much. And they're like, oh, you want to know what's up? And they just start dumping on people emotionally, is how I understood it. So in that case, understand you're in a trigger, and then when you are another side to naming this emotion and simplifying it is dropping the blame and place boundaries instead. Drop the blame, place boundaries instead. And that can look a whole bunch of different ways. If you are, and then they did this. Okay. So say you got triggered, and it's related to your ex narcissist who you no longer have a whole lot of contact with, but it's stuff they did in the past, and it's just triggering you. And they did this, and then they did that, and they're doing this, and they have new supply, and then this and that and this. Just stop in that moment. Stop blaming your reaction right now even on the narcissist anymore. They are no longer in your life. Break that connection, because otherwise you are pouring all this energy back into that relationship, which doesn't exist. Now, if they're still in your life, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when this is like separate from your life, or anyone, or a situation that was a long time ago. All right. Holding someone accountable is different. What I'm talking about is your emotional response to it. It's not going to change anything to get heated, angry, and reactionary. All it's going to do is wind up your day and dump it onto everyone around you, right? Place boundaries instead. Drop the blame, place a boundary. Oh, I'm sitting here totally mad about something that narcissist did to me, and I'm angry and I'm hurt, and I can go through, what do I need? What am I specifically angry at? Okay, I'm angry actually right now because I'm triggered by that person doing something similar to what my narcissist did. And I want to tell my friend, and I want to dump all over them about like how I feel, but then I want to go off about how that's happened to me before, and then it's happened before, and it's happened before. Stop. Drop the blame about the way you're feeling and place a boundary instead. I do not let anyone treat me like that anymore. Does that make sense? And it changes it from defense mode, right? Like what Anna's saying there, into a proactive response mode, right? I don't want to continually be in reaction to my triggers. I want to respond to them and not be dumping it all on other people. I would rather respond to them and have some boundaries that I understand how to place in that instead. Okay, it's a little vague, but I think I think I'm being a little bit clear. I have to go in just a minute, so I'm going to finish real quick, and then we're going to end this today. So if anyone has anything they need, ask it now, and I will get to it, and we'll stop here. Otherwise, I'll be back Monday. And if you have any topics for Monday, hit me up. Sorry, this went odd timing, but happens. Mercury. Okay. Let's see. This is actually what I'm doing online. I used to get triggered by posts and triggered all over the comment section. Now I breathe and move on. It's beautiful, Anna. You see? Okay. All right. Real quick here. When you are speaking to someone that you know is a friend, they're a good person, they're not a toxic person. We're not talking about toxic people right now. We're talking about moving on beyond them. Hopefully the people in our lives are people we can trust. When you have that going on and you're dumping all over them, your own emotional, it feels good to vent, right? Empathize with them just a moment. Stop for a second, take a breath, and realize that you are putting a whole heck of a lot on someone. Not to blame yourself, not because of guilt. Don't stop yourself in guilt. Take a breath, thank them. Hey, thanks for listening to me. Sometimes that breaks the spell of the venting and the emotional dumping, and it allows you to come back to yourself so you can say, you know what? Thank you. I was feeling so sad today. I was feeling so angry today. Thank you for listening to me. I appreciate it. Thank you for hearing me. I was feeling XYZ, whatever you were feeling. It brings you back to the reality that you're just sad, right? Not just sad, but you know what I mean? Like that's the point. The point isn't all this venting. It's good to vent. I'm not saying don't vent. I'm just saying when we notice that we're spilling out and we're not being very emotionally responsible and we are dumping on someone else, stop, empathize with them, thank them for hearing you, come back to the point of what you were actually feeling. And then maybe it'll loop you back into, what was it I needed? What do I need? Why was I feeling this sadness? And then slow things down. This is all about slowing down the reactions and becoming more responsive to yourself. Okay, good. All right. Sharing your feelings without the need for someone else to fix it. Why are we venting? Why are we dumping? Oftentimes it's just so someone else will make it better, right? Yeah. Okay, topics. What if you have a therapist who truly cares but just doesn't get it? Therapists who truly care but don't get it. I can answer that real quick. Use that therapist for their expertise of what they are, what they specialize in, and if that is appropriate to your life. And understand that sometimes that one person can't be everything, right? One person can't be everything. And sometimes it's, if you can't find a therapist that's narcissistic abuse specific, find one that is specific to something you want to work on for your life. For instance, I'm just going to make it up. It could be something like, I want to work on moving forward with feeling confident in myself and being a strong, independent person. You don't need a reason why. That's just what you want. And find someone who's good with that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Or I want to work on repairing my childhood wounds. And that's that. Doesn't matter why they're there. I want to work on that stuff. Or somebody that's really good with EMDR. And use the therapy for that purpose, and don't expect that person to be everything. until you can find someone, because you don't want it undermining the healing you're making because someone doesn't understand narcissistic abuse. And this is the problem with anyone you talk to, right? We can't be all things. You talk to me about certain things and I'm like, I have no idea how to help you there. I don't even know how to coach that. I can ask you questions. That's it. But that's how I used therapy until I found one that was narcissistic abuse specific, as I found one that was topic specific towards something I wanted to work on for myself. And it was a lot more superficial, I want to say, but it actually very useful as well, because it gave me tools, because they're there to give you tools and help you and listen, right? And it gave me a support person who then led me to this other person. So there we go. Okay. Okay, so back to this real quick, and then we're going to finish. Share your feelings without the needs for someone else to fix it. Just know that you're sharing so that someone hears you, right? And that it's not their responsibility to fix it. They can't fix your sad, okay? They can be there for you, which actually helps your sad. And then when we are in a more codependent, so to speak, mindset, we often want we want the answer all in one place, and we want them to fix it. And that's because we're looking externally for the answers instead of inside ourselves. Okay. 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 The last thing here is being more dependent on yourself, more independent, more dependent on oneself. These are ways to set up, like I said, set up a life where you are able to be more emotionally responsible when you're in a trigger and you're in reaction, and not dumping all over everybody else while you're in that reaction, especially people who have no idea what's going on. All right. Being more independent and dependent on oneself, finding ways to meet your own emotional needs as a whole topic in itself. Right. I'm going to leave it with that, that's the self-love part. And that's a whole long talk that I don't have even a minute left for. So know that that's there. That's the end of today's talk. We're going to come back on Monday and talk about something else. I don't know what yet. So hit me up with some topic ideas, or I will come up with probably something narcissistic abuse related or narc related for Monday. We'll start the week and we end the week with something for us. How's that? Okay. It's a good rhythm. It works. All right. Just saying that I truly care about relationship built with this therapist, his efforts to help me. Good. Okay. You're welcome. I appreciate you as well, tree hugger. Okay. That's it. So if anyone needs help with narcissistic abuse recovery, head over to queenbeing.com. A lot of information over there, as well as links to peer support and links to coaching. I forgot to mention, offering 35% off one-on-one 1-hour coaching from now, actually from a couple weeks ago, all the way through January 1st. So if anyone needs that, it is a fabulous deal for the hour sessions. That's it. Group coaching. Group coaching starts again next week. You can join anytime, but it officially begins the beginning of each month. I am going to start a trauma bond group. I don't have a time yet, so that one's going to start later. But the one that's going on is about all the stuff we're talking about here today. It's about working with your own life and your own path forward, past, beyond narcissistic abuse. Any stage of healing, welcome. But the focus is on us, okay? And that is $60 a month. There are 4 or 5 meetings, depending on the month, usually 4. 1-hour meetings. We meet on a Zoom chat. We talk live all together with whoever's in the group for that time. There's 3 time slots. The link's in there. You can find the time slots there. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time here with that. But anyway, it also has a Facebook Messenger chat group that I come in on daily, and people talk all the time and offer peer support within that smaller group, and try to keep it pretty topic specific. So it's all about healing, and it's an awesome place to find some more concentrated and personal support if you need it. The link is in the main description of every video, but it is, again, like I said, starting again next Wednesday. So if you want to join in on that, head on over. And that's it, you guys. That's it. I will see you Monday. You take care. Bye-bye. Have a good weekend, okay?